Yo, what's going on YouTube? Mic check. Jesus TV back with another video, and we are going to be reviewing the last two episodes I've watched of The Walking Dead, the 14th and 15th episodes of the 5th season. So I watched both of these episodes before making a video on any of them, so I decided to just make a little double header so we can just kind of move on. And we have a watcher review coming up next, and then I'm kind of done with YouTube content until late tonight, where we're going to be talking about the NBA. I just have to kind of catch up on a bunch of things. So this video will probably be like 20-25 minutes long. So let's talk about the plot for episode 14. This episode is called Spend. Gabriel, torn over his loss of faith, tears up a Bible. So he's like reaffirming that he's not religious anymore, and he's kind of given up all faith. All these bad things are happening. This group kind of comes in his life, and things are just going to absolute crap. And yeah, obviously, he's very frustrated over it. Like, why can't things go right? Elsewhere, Noah meets with Deanna's husband, Reg, to become his student, so he'll know what to do to keep the walls up. This is like the architect of the group. He's the guy that's kind of like keeping this place stable and whatnot. Noah then goes to meet Glenn, Tara, Aiden, and Nicholas, who are going on a repair mission to get parts needed from a nearby warehouse to repair the solar power system. So there's like lights in the town, this little community that obviously come on with the solar power. So it's pretty cool. Eugene's reluctant to go, but is the only one that can identify the required parts. This is a pretty monumental episode. This is pretty important. A lot of things happen here. But yeah, Eugene's obviously like a coward. We know this. We've learned this in the series. As Rick makes his rounds, he passes Jesse's house and notices her working on one of the sculptures, which has been vandalized. It's like someone messed it up, and someone just keeps messing with her. Rick offers to find the culprit, but she brushes him off. She's like, no, I can do this myself. You don't need to help me. That type of thing. Rick is later approached by Jesse's husband, Pete, who tries to cultivate a friendship with him to kind of like soften him up. Because these two, over the next couple of episodes, you guys are going to notice these two are going to have like some rivalries with each other. Glenn's group reaches the warehouse, and although the group is initially cautious, Aiden shoots a walker wearing a grenade, leading to Tara suffering a severe head injury. So it's like pretty much like a suicide bomber, and yeah. Just fucking pressing me for no reason to go do shit. Like, bro, I have to do other things. God. After the group rescues Tara, Eugene promises to protect her, with the others going off to find Aiden. Eugene is able to overcome his cowardice to evacuate Tara to their van, which he uses to lure the walkers away from outside the building. So Tara is safe, and Eugene saves her life. He does his first, like, kind of heroic deed for this group since he's joined. And it's been a long fucking time, so a long time coming for this guy. He's finally had to man up for once. The other three find Aiden still alive, but impaled against a wall, like this rod, like stuck through him. He's pretty much dead. If they take him out of the wall, blood's gonna go everywhere, and he's gonna lose a lot. So, yeah. Nicholas, panicking at the onslaught of walkers, tells Aiden that running is who we are, and tries to escape through revolving doors in the front of the warehouse. There's like the turnstile thingy. Yeah, this is who we are. We run. We're cowards. Just like Eugene. Glenn and Noah try to free Aiden, but realizing it is impossible, they leave him to be his hack, so he gets bit. So Aiden is dead. Meanwhile, Abraham helps a crew to extend Alexandria's walls. What are you doing? Fucking stop. So, Alexandria, they're trying to like expand, and there's like walkers in the way, so they have to like take all of them out to kind of expand their territory. So when the crew is ambushed by walkers, trapping their lookout Francine, a brand new character played by Dahlia Legault. There's a couple of characters in this new crew or whatever. So that's cool. The foreman Tobin sees no way to save her and orders them to abandon her. Like, we run. Again, this is like very representative. We're learning about a lot about the people of Alexandria. They like to run. Abraham instead races in to help rescue her, later assisted by other members of the crew. He's like, no, I can't give this up. I don't give up any members of this group. We just don't do that. With the walkers dispatched, Abraham takes the leadership of the group. He's like, I'm in charge now. I'm the one that executes things, gets shit done right. Tobin later resigns his position to Deanna, Reg, and Maggie, admitting that Abraham is a better leader. Like, he's like vouching for him. He's like, yes, make this guy the leader. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's very courageous. Yeah. Deanna agrees, but expresses her concern to Maggie that Rick's group is quickly filling in positions of leadership in the community. Like, why are all you guys taking over? This is our town. We settled here. We founded this place. We established it as a community. Like, she's getting suspicious, like they're kind of just taking things away from her. Gabriel later speaks to Deanna, expressing his doubts on the sincerity of Rick's group and not to trust them, unaware that Maggie has overheard them. Like, she's on the stairs, like, listening to this conversation. Gabriel is right. Like, honestly, he is right. He has a good point. But this shit like this could get him killed, especially with Maggie listening. Carol is visited a few times by Jesse's son Sam, who keeps asking for cookies, like, cook me another batch, cook me another batch. To get rid of him, Carol tells him she will only make them if he steals 2 bars of chocolate from the town's food storage. Because she's, like, just stealing shit from them. She's, like, taking their guns. This group is trying to, like, infiltrate, like, very subtly. Sam returns with the chocolate. He actually does it. While waiting for the cookies to bake, he admits to breaking Jesse's statue, then asks for one of her guns. Because, like, tensions are, like, really high in this kid's family. When Carol asks him why, he runs off. Back at the warehouse, Glenn and Noah follow Nicholas to stop him, but all 3 end up surrounded by walkers and stuck in the revolving door. To save himself, Nicholas ignores Glenn and opens the door far enough for the walkers to grab and drag Noah out, where he is consumed. A horrified Glenn watches but can do nothing. So yeah, Noah dies. Noah and Aiden both die in this episode in the warehouse. Nicholas catches up to Eugene in the van and threatens to leave him behind if they don't go now. Like, get the hell out of here, we need to leave. Glenn, having made it out the door, knocks Nicholas out, beats the hell out of him, like, you literally killed fucking Noah, you coward little bitch, right? Though they have collected the parts, the ride back to Alexandria is somber, and they hold Nicholas under gunpoint. Like, if you try anything stupid, we're gonna kill you. Carol goes to the Anderson home to try and talk to Sam or Jesse, but is coldly turned away by Pete, arousing her suspicion, like, something weird's going on and this family's hiding shit. When Rick returns home, Carol tells him that Pete is abusing Jesse and maybe Sam, and the only way to stop it is to kill Pete. Now, obviously, they don't really want to kill anyone, but they might have to. Talking about the reception, pretty brief. Critical acclaim, of course, 9.2 out of 10 on IGN. Spin was a damn solid episode that, in just 1 week, just in between episodes, flipped me around on the whole Rick taking over Alexandria situation. Full of huge, tense moments and surprising deaths, this chapter now has me back on Team Ricktatorship. That's kind of what people are saying about it. Let's move on to the 15th episode. Maybe this video isn't going to be as long as I thought. I kind of zoomed through that. Don't worry. We'll go way more in depth with the other things, the other episodes. But, I feel like someone's watching me, dude. Am I being weird? I guess so. I don't know. Let's just move on. 15th episode, the penultimate episode of the season. So, yeah, let's go. Deanna and her family mourn Aiden's death. What the fuck is happening? Oh, okay, it's from upstairs. Deanna and her family mourn Aiden's death when Carol leaves a tuna pasta bake and a note of condolence on Deanna's doorstep. Hold up, I'll be back. I have my pants unbuttoned. I do realize that. But they're fucking tight on me right now, so. Yeah. Carol leaves a tuna pasta bake, sends her condolences, all that stuff for the death. People didn't want to see that guy die. There's only, like, certain people in Alexandria that really just truly deserve to die. Deanna picks up the note, leaving the pasta behind, and afterwards proceeds to burn the card. She doesn't give a fuck. Like, she thinks these people are up to no good, and maybe, in some sort, maybe you're just being salty that they're taking over leadership and they're better at survival than you guys. It just is what it is. She then watches a video of Nicholas describing the incident in which he lies and places blame on Glenn for Aiden and Noah's deaths, while Glenn relates the true series of events to Rick. So both of these two are kind of, it's his word against mine type of situation. Their words against each other. Yeah. Deanna prohibits them from carrying firearms and from leaving the safe zone while she investigates. Like, until she figures out what the hell is going on, you guys can't have firearms, you can't leave the town, none of that's happening. The next morning, Rosita tells Michonne that Sasha has gone missing from her post at the tower. She's no longer there, and we know, like, there's obviously a lot of worry that's going to come with this because, you know, she's been acting really fucking weird. She's been very disoriented from everything. Worried, they venture outside the walls to look for her. They find several dead walkers and realize Sasha is actively hunting them. Like, without them even attacking the group, she's, like, going out and killing them. She's going on a hunt. Like, she's taking her anger out. Maybe it's a good thing, but it is pretty dangerous. They track her down and help her eliminate a large pack of walkers, which leads to an outburst from Sasha. She's like, "Why are you guys helping me? Why are you doing this?" It's very dumb. I mean, people obviously lose their minds and whatnot, but it's really annoying. Rick approaches Deanna about Pete's abusive behavior and is shocked when Deanna reveals she already knows about it. She's like, "Yeah, this community is fully aware of what this guy is doing." Okay, you're not doing anything about it, right? So it's kind of fucking weird. Since Pete is a surgeon, his skills are invaluable to Alexandria, and Deanna is not willing to have Pete separated from Jesse or executed because it's going to break him. It's going to make him not want to be a part of this community anymore. If it comes down to it, she says that she will have Pete exiled and just kicked out of the camp. But she's not going to kill anyone. Rick believes exiling Pete will only put Alexandria in danger, but Deanna refused to listen. Like, if you throw him out of the camp, he's going to come back with revenge. He's going to bring a bunch of survivors. Meanwhile, Carl follows Enid outside the walls. You know, you can kind of tell they're getting, like, this boy crush, girl crush, like, teenage love affair going. You can kind of tell that. She reveals she knows Carl has been following her, but allows him to come with her. She's like, "It's fine, it's whatever, you can come with me." They bond over their shared experiences as survivors from the outside, but are forced to hide inside a hollowed tree from a walker horde as they kind of pass by. This is probably caused by Sasha. Enid says the world belongs to the walkers and humans just live in it, which is a really fucked up, like, negative way to look at an apocalypse. They look in each other's eyes, and Carl touches Enid's hand for a second before pulling back. He's, like, very hesitant. He's like, do I want to start, like, a relationship with this girl? Do I want to get intimate? And it seems like that's where it's going. Glenn confronts Nicholas and tells him men like him should have died to the walkers, but he was lucky that the Alexandria's walls came up in time. Like, you just got into this gated community in time. You could have been dead. You're kind of pathetic, honestly. Glenn tells Nicholas never to set foot outside of the walls again. Like, you shouldn't be going out to the side of the walls. You shouldn't be venturing. You shouldn't be going on supply runs. You're not capable of it. You fold every time, and you just turn into a bitch. So, yeah. Fearing that Glenn will reveal his cowardice, Nicholas later retrieves a pistol, the same one that Rick had stashed away but lost, but now Nicholas has arms, so Glenn better watch the fuck out. Elsewhere outside the walls, Daryl and Aaron notice more walkers are coming into the area, and there's a big reason for this. You know, Sasha's shooting, she's like leading them there. They investigate a light in the distance and come across freshly severed limbs and a woman who had been tied to a tree and eaten alive by walkers, her body reanimating as they find her, killing the resultant walker. So they gotta kill her to put her out of her misery. Not because they like want to kill these things, but it's putting people out of their misery. They're doing themselves justice. And them justice. There is a W carved into her forehead, so there's like this weird thing going around where people are getting W's carved in their forehead as they die. It's kind of reminding me of the Rats. It's kind of reminding me of like when Karen died and they were trying to figure out who did it. It's kind of like that situation. Obviously, Carol did that. Rick talks to Jesse again and reveals that he knows Pete is abusing her. He knows. Like, obviously it shouldn't be any of his business, but he knows it. Jesse assures Rick she can fix her relationship with Pete, but Rick is not convinced. He's like, no, this has been going on for long enough. Your family's starting to fall apart. Let me help you. He promises to protect Jesse, and she agrees to let him protect her just as Pete returns home. Very fucking awkward because they're getting really close to each other. They're getting into an intimate relationship, and then Pete just interrupts. Jessie stands up for herself and orders Pete to leave, but Pete grows angry and the two men begin to fight. This is kind of like the final scene. They're just throwing hands. Their fight makes its way to the street as the entire town watches. This is obviously not good, a good role model for the rest of the community. These two men just beating the shit out of each other because of disagreements. But yeah, I'm in full support of Rick fighting him. This was probably one of the better scenes of the entire season. I really enjoyed this. Jesse and Carl attempt to stop the fight but fail. Each side of the party, you know. Rick finally subdues Pete in a headlock, holds him there, makes him submit, yada yada yada. Deanna orders Rick to stand down, but Rick doesn't acknowledge, instead warning Pete that if he harms either Jesse or Sam again, he will kill him. And he fucking deserves it. Domestic abuse is a very serious issue, so Rick standing up for the family is a really good thing. Deanna once again orders Rick to withdraw, but Rick points his revolver at the crowd and goes on a rant, telling Deanna how Alexandria is too complacent and will eventually destroy itself under her leadership, and that the way to survive is to have people like Pete executed. So, I mean, at first you're like, yeah, that's a good point, but once, Michonne eventually silences him mid-rant by knocking him unconscious, that's like the cliffhanger, and then you're kind of realizing, like, oh shit, Rick was kind of in the wrong here, like, he kind of went far. Like, if Michonne thinks it's wrong, obviously she's not the ultimatum of everybody in the series, but she has a pretty big say in stuff. So I think her doing that showed Rick and showed everyone else that what he's doing is insane. So he's kind of losing his mind. But let's get into the critical reception here, and we will be done. Critical acclaim, 8.6 out of 10 on IGN. Try kept the gripping, anxious Alexandria story moving along while also planting a seed for the finale. The brawl between Rick and Pete was rightly intense. Andrew Lincoln, one of the best great performance with this episode. Definitely one of TV's most underrated performers over the years. He did great. B+ in the AV Club. A feeling that all this friendliness and goodwill and calm is just going to make the bad news worse when it finally arrives. The problem is, to keep things from boiling just yet, we need to keep following various subplots that aren't anywhere near as interesting as the main question of just what the hell Rick is planning on doing. Rick's scenes were great. I mean, Rick has been on the edge for a while now, but it's fascinating here to watch him rant at the townsfolk because part of what he's saying is legitimately true. That doesn't make him sound reasonable or even sane, but it also makes him impossible to dismiss. The show has tried to do ambiguous conflicts before and fumbled them because it's hard to work up a lot of tension when the bad guys are too indistinct to be a clear threat. But there's a tension right now because the Alexandrians' apparent decency works in perfect contrast with our heroes' rugged desperation. And guys, I mean, that's really all I have. I'm really surprised at how short this was. I tried to keep it concise so you're not sitting here watching this for a while, but I just made a review for 2 episodes. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to take it 1 episode at a time, but we have to still talk about The Walker. And why do I keep calling it The Walker? I'm mixing The Watcher and The Walking Dead. We're going to be doing a Watcher review next, and then I'm going to go upstairs. My dad is only on episode 3, so we're going to watch 3, 4, and 5. I think it's really cool for me to rewatch the series. But yeah, episode 5 will be watched tonight. Episode 4 review is coming up next for that series. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. GZTV, bringing you guys all the best TV shows out there I've been reviewing. Obviously, we're working on The Walking Dead. We got to make it up to the end of Better Call Saul. We have to watch all of Breaking Bad again to kind of catch up with that story. And it's been a